you're working from home and you're busy working away, you're getting tons of stuff done, but nobody sees that, nobody knows that, did it really happen? Welcome back, everybody. Today's video is how to effectively work from home. Never before have we seen so many people working from home across the world, which is really amazing to see. It's setting up new habits for people, new habits for businesses as we discover how to effectively do this. Now, there's a bunch of ways that it can go terribly wrong, but fortunately there's a bunch of things we can do to make it a much better experience. Now, I've got 10 tips for you today, things that have worked for me, really helped me a lot. This is my second week working from home full-time, and it's getting better and better as I follow these tips. At the end of the video, I'm going to show you 2 products that I've purchased that really help me not only work from home, but also help me when I'm mobile. All right, let's get started. The first tip that I've got for you is when we're leaving the office for the last time to go home, to begin working from home, maybe full-time, maybe we're going to ease into it, but regardless, we need to start thinking about that transition. We need to think about what are we going to bring from the office, because we probably want to bring a bunch of different things. Of course, the computer, maybe some software, our peripherals, so maybe you want that mouse, that ergonomic mouse that you really like, maybe that Bluetooth keyboard that you can't live without. What about your monitors, right? When you go home, do you have enough monitors? Do you use multiple monitors at work? What about a printer, a scanner, a fax machine, any of those things? So now scan the whole desk and take a look. Do you have a staple gun at home? Do you have a 3-hole punch? Any of those kind of office-y like things that you might need. What about a shredder, right? What about one of those? Do you have one of those at home? You look around, there's all sorts of little things that you have in your office that make your life easier. Do you have those at home? Can you bring some of those things home? Maybe you can't, maybe you have to go buy new ones, I don't know, but take a look. Take a look in your drawers for any sort of food items that are going to be perishable. You don't want to go back after a couple months or a few weeks even and have that stink of rotting lunch. Nobody's going to enjoy that. Your coworkers are definitely not going to be happy about that, so take a look for that. If there's something in there that you need to throw away or bring home, then do that. And then finally, take a look at things that make you happy. So maybe you've got some plants in your office that nobody's going to water while you're away, so maybe bring those home. What about pictures of your friends, family, pets? Maybe they're on the wall or on your desk. Maybe you want to bring those home too. Something to think about. All right, number 2. As you get started working from home, you're going to need to collaborate with your boss, with your company, with your coworkers, with your peers. So let's get that figured out. What's the method of collaboration going to be? Are you going to talk to them on the phone? Are they going to phone you? Are you going to have some sort of video conferencing, which I highly recommend? What's that look like, right? Are you going to use WebEx? Are you going to use Skype? Are you going to use GoToMeeting? Whatever works for you, whatever you're using in your company, but I would agree to what that looks like. What is that going to be? Get that written down, agree to that, maybe put it in the meeting invites that you're going to be using to help organize that. But get that dialed in. That's going to be really important. That's going to help you moving forward to make sure you're collaborating all on the same platform consistently to get rid of any confusion. All right, item 3. Now this one is really important, maybe the most important out of all 10 items, and that is agree on your deliverables. Well, why would you have to do that, right? Why do we need to talk about that? Why is that any different? Well, it's different because there's a certain stigma to working from home. A lot of employers, a lot of bosses may not want you working from home because they can't see you now. And some people believe if they can't see you, you may not be working. Of course, you and I know that's not true. However, the stigma is still there. So we can avoid any doubt, any of that negativity by doing some certain things. And some of those things include simply agreeing on what you're going to deliver. That could be some goals, that could be finishing some tasks, that could be projects, that could be setting up certain meetings. Whatever that is, whatever you do, you should make sure that that is understood by everyone. It doesn't hurt to have a meeting where you talk about, okay, we're working from home now. What does that mean to what I'm delivering? So maybe my deliverables change. Maybe I can't deliver some of the things I used to deliver when I was at the office. Maybe I'm even more efficient because I'm no longer commuting. I'm no longer stuck in traffic for 2 hours a day. So now I can deliver more. Maybe I up the ante there, right? And I make myself even more valuable to my company. Maybe I'm doing completely different work now that I'm working at home. I would recommend have that conversation, talk about what that looks like. Ask your boss, how can I show you my progress? How can I support you now that this has changed? What's going to work for your boss and for your company? So be active, get out in front of this, and actually ask those sort of questions. And some of the things I do, which I think are a good idea, is I will ask my boss, hey, what can I do for you this week? What are you looking for? How can I help support you? Other things you can do is send your boss an email every week. Maybe you're already doing this, maybe you're already having one-on-ones with your boss, and that's fantastic, but it doesn't hurt to follow up as well with an email that says, hey, this is what I got done this week, this day, or this period, and let them know what's going on. All right, item 4. Item 4 is get stable internet. Now, I know that sounds easy as well, right? But nobody has enough internet. That's just the way it works. You'll be watching a movie and it'll start to buffer. How annoying is that, right? Has that ever happened to you? I bet it has. And there's all sorts of instances where your internet pipe to your house gets a little plugged up. And that can happen for a bunch of different reasons. I bet you one of the reasons is you're probably not living alone in your house, so other people are using it. I have 2 kids. I have a wife. They all use the internet. Sometimes they're all using it at once and things slow down. If you're in the middle of a conference call with the president or the executive and you're doing video conferencing, which is consuming a lot of bandwidth, and maybe all of a sudden now your kids jump on, they start streaming, they start playing video games, maybe your wife's watching YouTube, all of a sudden consumption goes up. Now all of a sudden your video conference, which is the most important meeting of the week, now bombs because nobody can understand what you're saying. It's all jittery, right? So that's what we want to avoid when we're working from home. We want to maintain that level of professionalism even on our internet connection, which is really important. So how do you do that? Communicate. Treat your new working environment in your house, with your family, with your roommates, with whoever it is you share that space with, if anybody. Think of that as your new working environment. You need to communicate just like you communicate at the office and talk to them about your needs. Also talk to them about their needs. How do you support them while they support you? In that example, you might say, hey, I have this very important meeting at 9 o'clock on Tuesday. Could you please not use the internet during that time? Or if you do use it, please don't stream or YouTube or video games or anything that's going to really take up a lot of bandwidth. And then agree maybe that you won't use a lot of bandwidth at certain times as well. That seems fair to me. If you're working, you're probably bringing home the money to support the family. So it's really important that your internet is good when you're actually doing those tasks, especially on something like that, like an important meeting. So communicate to make sure that you can use the amount of internet, the amount of bandwidth that you need to be able to do your job. That's really important. You're never going to have enough bandwidth and never have enough internet, right? It's never perfect all the time. So you need to work with others in your house to make sure that works. If you need to upgrade your internet, now may be a good time. Get a little more bandwidth, get that package that's a little bit higher. That may work out for you because you're going to be using more. Video conferencing definitely uses more. All right, number 5. Now this one shouldn't be a surprise. We want to reduce distractions. And at home, there are a lot of distractions. You know, all sorts of things going on. I don't know what's going on at your house, but for me, I've got kids here. Right now it's spring break, so they're at home playing video games. They need to be fed. They have certain needs. I want to spend time with them. So there's that. Then there's all the other stuff. People will come to the door delivering packages. There'll be, my mom will call, something's going on with her, right? Like life in general occurs, you know, at home, and you're not kind of protected as you would be if you're at the office. You have to deal with that. You have to understand that's going to occur. So you need to build a plan around that. One of the things that I do is I, again, communicate with my family that, hey, my schedule is this. From this time to this time, I'm in my office here and I'm working. I need to actually focus. Just because I'm home doesn't mean I'm not working, right? So I think it's really important that everybody understand that you are working, that you can't just be distracted like you normally would on a weekend. So that has to be clear. And maybe there's a method in which they communicate with you. Maybe they text you or email. All right, number 6. Number 6 is staying productive. Now, why is that important? Why is that an item? Well, as we just talked about with distractions, working from home can have the tendency to pull you into an area where you become less productive. So we want to make sure we're getting more and more productive, not less. So how do we do that? The way I do it is I set goals. What do I want to achieve today? What do I want to achieve this week? What do I want to achieve this month? And even maybe for the year. So I have yearly goals as well. And all of these should align with that yearly goal. And of course, those are going to support my boss as well, so that I can make sure that that person is successful, right? So it's that total alignment in the corporate structure. So I have goals. Then I want to make lists, and those are kind of like my priority to-do lists. So I have those, so I can continually scan that list to make sure I'm checking things off, that I'm getting stuff done. Then I also want to set up a schedule that reflects what those priorities are. A lot of times we're going to get pulled into other stuff to help others. That's fine, but we want to always come back and make sure we're focusing on what our priorities are as well. Because if you spend all your time helping other people, that's nice, but you're not getting your work done. So it's got to be a bit of a balance there. I want to have my lists, I want to have tasks, I want to have schedule, I want to have my priorities, all that laid out, very organized, even more organized when I'm working from home than when I'm in the office, just because I know I'm going to need that structure. The other thing you want to do is set up touch points with your coworkers, with your boss. I usually never recommend having a meeting without an agenda. But in this instance, when you're working from home, you need that touch base. You no longer have those hallway conversations. You no longer meet people in the kitchen. You're no longer having those informal discussions. So you may want to set up, say, a tailgate meeting in the morning, a virtual one, of course, maybe with video conferencing, where you guys are talking about anything that people want to talk about. Maybe it's short, just 30 minutes, 15 minutes, I don't know. But it's something like that to make sure you're communicating, collaborating with everybody. Nobody's left out. You know what people are doing. Everybody's still connected. So you're building that tribe, that community, but it's virtual. So you need to put a little more effort into that. Okay, number 7. How am I going to do that? 7. That's hard to do. Okay? Number 7 is showing your productivity or proving your productivity. So before we were doing keeping productive or increasing productivity. Now we want to prove it. What does that mean, right? What am I talking about? Well, what that is it's one thing to be good. It's another thing to be recognized or viewed as good. So we want to make sure perception matches reality. This is the problem. If you're working from home and you're busy working away, you're getting tons of stuff done, but nobody sees that, nobody knows that. Did it really happen? It's like the old proverb, right? If a tree falls in the woods but nobody's there to hear it, did it really fall down? Maybe not. It doesn't hurt to increase the level of self-promotion within reason, right? Like, be sensible about it. But you want to make sure that your teammates, your coworkers, your boss, your team, your company knows that you're getting stuff done. And this can be as simple as an FYI email to your boss saying, hey boss, I got this done. Or you could ask for help if there's problems, like I have this roadblock, can you help me out? Give me some guidance on what I should do in this situation. Anything like that. But I would be showing that you're getting stuff done. That way, any doubt that I wonder what Rob's doing at home goes away. So that's great. So spend a little time on that. It's a good thing to do anyway, just to allow people to know that you're getting stuff done. Okay, number 8. Number 8 is managing your kids. And I'm not sure if that's the best title, because it could be your roommates, it could be whoever you're living with. In my case, it's kids, right? And so it's spring break. My kids love video games, so for the most part they're managed because they just by default play video games all day. But that's probably not the best thing for them to be doing. And so I need to parent them, I need to be with them, I need to coach them, while also allowing them to have some enjoyment and being productive and doing all those things kids like to do, but kind of with a higher level of autonomy, because I need to spend time working, right? So I need to give them larger projects, a bit of a schedule, some formality around their day. So for me, I give them 1 hour a day where they go through and do a project, and then they can schedule their other stuff on what they want to do. Maybe 1 hour is not long enough, whatever works for you, but they communicate with me on Discord, so even though they're in the other room, I'm busy working, they can tell me what they're doing, they can tell me if there's a problem, and things like that. So for me, that works out well as a system. For you, if you've got roommates, maybe they're going to make a loud noise next door, and you got to tell them, hey, I'm working, can you not do that during this time frame? Whoever you're living with, you need to work with to figure out, what's going to work as far as noise levels, who's using the phone, who's using the internet. Work that out, figure out a plan. You got to have a bit of give and take there. All right, number 9. Number 9 is staying connected. Now, we're all working from home. It's highly productive. I'm not having to drive in traffic, which is great. However, I'm starting to lose that little bit of connectivity with people. And just certain little things, right? Before we used to talk to, Fred or Sally about their kids or the new puppy or the new truck that Joe bought. all those things. We now no longer have that to the level that we used to. And I think it's worth fixing, because if you lose that, then you lose some of the pleasures of working with people. We need that social interaction. So there's a bunch of things you can do. For me personally, I check in with people. I just ask them how they're doing. Instant Messenger works great for this. So I'll just instant message somebody and say, hey, can you IM? Yes, great. How you doing? What's new? It sounds like it might be a bit of a waste of time when I put it that way, but it's not. You can keep it short. You're just touching base with people, seeing how they're doing. There's one executive I saw, he had a webcam in his office on all the time, so you could always see what he was doing. It's like out of touch, out of mind sort of thing. He was battling against that to show his staff, hey, look, I'm working from home, but you can see what I'm doing all the time. So that's a neat, interesting concept. I don't think I would necessarily do that, but I think always kind of touching base one way or another. Keep it in the back of your mind that, hey, how long has it been since I talked to so-and-so? Maybe it's time for a quick call. Just ask them how they're doing, what's new. At the beginning of our staff meetings, quite often what we'll do is a roundtable where you say what's new in your life this week, and it's not work related. So maybe I went to see this movie, maybe I read this book, maybe I went to see that trade show, like whatever. And it's great as a group. We can absorb that and learn more about that person, and we've got more things to talk to, more things to relate to. So think about that. It's even more important now that you're working from home. All right, we're at number 10 already. Number 10 is really important. Number 10 is goals. We all have goals, but when you're working from home, it's even more important to formalize those goals. And I'm not just talking about your business goals of, I got to get that report done, I got to get that task done, I got to get that project done. I'm talking about overall, because you're working from home now, right? So you have to have home goals as well. So that may include, hey, I'm going to work out 3 times a week. Now that I'm not driving to work and spending 2 hours in traffic every week, I have more time to not only work, not only get stuff done, but also pursue some of the things that maybe were lacking in your life before. For me, definitely. I'm spending more time exercising now because I don't feel as tired. I'm not, from 2 hours of traffic, I get pretty tired and pretty frustrated. I don't have any of that now, which is great. So I'm reading more, I'm doing more research, which helps my work as well. I'm exercising more. For me, having goals, driving towards the goal, actually helps my mental health as well, because it gives me a vision, it gives me something to focus on, and I would highly recommend that when you start working from home, you do some of that too. And that could be certain things like I'm going to set up a schedule, or I'm going to clean up my office space, or anything like that. But try it out, I'm sure you're going to like it. All right, so that is the end of the 10 tips. Now, I want to share with you 2 products that really changed my life. The first one is this guy here. This is a Bluetooth headset by Plantronics. And the reason I love this, I know that Apple makes them, everybody makes them, but this one, the voice quality is excellent. I'm going to put the links down below so you can see what all the specs are. But this one here, it fits in my ear perfectly. It never falls out. It lasts for like 6 to 8 hours, which is incredible. And it connects to all my devices. So I have 2 phones and a laptop. It connects to all 3 at once, which is amazing. It's got a little Bluetooth thing that fits in my laptop. And so I can switch back and forth without a problem. I can walk around the house, I can go make lunch while I'm on a meeting with this, and it's not a problem at all. So fantastic. It's got this little container, which is great because it actually plugs into USB and it charges, so it's like a battery pack at the same time, and I can just drop it in there and it charges. I don't have to pack it all away unless I'm traveling, which I do. So I use this in the airports. I've used it on planes even, and before they take off. But it's just fantastic. When I'm driving, when I was commuting, I was using this all the time. And this was just so nice compared to just trying to use your phone, which is almost impossible. Second product, because we're working from home, maybe we don't want to use that when we're in our office. I don't know about you, but having something hanging out of my ear all day gets annoying. This thing, it's great. It's USB and Bluetooth, so if you want to plug it into your laptop, which I do when I'm using it in the office, it's great. It's basically a speakerphone. It's made by Jabra, and the model here is 7510, but it doesn't matter too much. I mean, just get something that's affordable to you, that works for you. The features on here, I haven't used half of them. It has a mute button, has a volume button, and an on-off button, and that's what I use most of the time. I'm sure there's some other options on here, but it's great because I put it there. The sound quality on this one, on the Jabra, is excellent, so I really think that this is a good product. Same with the Plantronics, excellent quality, and that's what for me is really important, because a lot of the headphones I've used just don't work that good and the quality's lousy. So that's why one of the reasons I really like these. So that concludes our 10 tips for working from home effectively. Hopefully that was helpful for you. Hopefully those 2 products are as helpful to you as they were to me. Maybe you've got tips and techniques that work really well for you. I'd love to hear from you, so please put them in the comments down below. That'd be awesome. That'll help everybody in our community to work better from home. And if you've got any other products that you really like to use, maybe it's a fancy monitor or mouse or keyboard or something like that, then let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about that as well. So that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed it. Safe travels. See you later. Because at home, as I talked about with the distractions, they can easily pull you into an area where your productivity is going down. And we want to do exactly the opposite. I'm going to cut out the flushing.